Thank you for visiting my creative space. My name is MJ, and today I will be doing a quick mid-month check-in for the collective of elements: water, fire, earth and air. Just because I didn't manage to do full elemental readings at the beginning of the month, at least I want to do a quick check-in to see what energies surround the elements in the middle of March 2021. Of course, time is fluid and we are all on different timelines, so for some of you these energies may continue in April. So take it as it resonates depending on where you are in your journey. This will be a general read, so it may apply to any area of your life. So use your judgment and your intuition to see how the messages apply to your specific situation. The cards have been pre-shuffled. If you're interested in the decks that I'm using, that information is in the description box below. You will also find timestamps there, so you can jump straight into the element or elements that interest you. As I said, the cards have been pre-shuffled, so I will do just a quick shuffle on camera and I will pull the cards and then we will kick off the reading. The part of shuffling and pulling out the cards will be fast forwarded, and again, timestamps are down below, so you can just skip this part completely and jump straight into your element, okay? The cards have been pulled and we will be starting with the element of water, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, mid-month check-in, March 2021. I pulled 4 cards for you. The oracle card will be your overall theme, the overall energy surrounding you right now. And 3 cards are as follows. This card was the first one to show up and it flipped over, so it kind of opened the reading for me. This is your position of focus, then this is your position of challenge and your position of advice, okay? This is the element of water, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Your overall energy is build, okay? So depending on the area of your life that is in your focus right now, it may be about building a relationship, it may be about building a career, it may be about building yourself, right? You may be working on certain features of your character, you may be building your body, but there's definitely conscious effort to build something. What I'm primarily getting is building relationships, for some reason building trust. Some of you may obviously be just physically building a house, for example, right? But that's a process of creation, okay? You are building something. You may be building a business. It may be about building your future, right? With someone or just on your own, right? But there's a creation process going on. That's an active energy. Or for some of you, this is an encouragement to build something. So let's see what tarot cards have to say about that. In your position of focus, in the card that flipped over, you have the Page of Swords. Okay, the page primarily indicates a young person or someone young at heart. And I do think that a lot of you are feeling kind of renewed. It may not necessarily be that you are young of age, like you are not a youngster, but there's the feeling of new and something new entering your life, making you feel renewed, okay? There's transformation with this butterfly or moth I think it's a butterfly. There's transformation in your thought process, right? Because we're in the element of swords, the energy of swords. So it's primarily about our thoughts, okay? So there are new ideas and new and perhaps often surprising thoughts coming up to you that you may be surprised, they may be unusual, you may not have faced them before. It may be about creative ideas. As I said, there's that energy of creating something. You may be working on your career, you may be working on creating your business, right? It may be about relationship as well. But there are definitely thoughts showing up that you have not faced before. You may be surprised. You may even have problems to recognize yourself because those thoughts are so surprising to you, right? It may be something that you would never think that way a year ago, a couple months ago, and suddenly those thoughts come to you. For a lot of you, I really do think that these are new ideas, maybe creative ideas, or just thoughts about reality surrounding you, about yourself, perhaps thoughts about your life direction, right? But there's that feeling of newness coming into your mind that can make you feel like a youngster or like a young person just because you're experiencing something that you're not accustomed to yet. Okay? Because this is in your area of focus, I think you're really focused on observing those ideas or those thoughts, and you may not necessarily take action based on them yet. But you may be exploring them, reviewing them, to really decide what to do with them, what action to take with those thoughts, okay? In your position of challenge, you have the Temperance. There's challenge with balance at times, because Temperance is about balance and harmony, right? But it's also a card of rest. You may not get enough rest physically as well, but it may be about that rest of your mind. You know, if you have so many new thoughts, that they may take your time, right? Because you're so focused on them. It may be a little tiring, but that's just for some of you that I'm getting. Primarily, this is a card of balance. You may have challenges with maintaining balance. Those thoughts may shake up your world a little bit, and for this reason, they can make you feel out of harmony with yourself. And for a lot of you, this is challenge with being patient, okay? Because Temperance is about taking things slow. It's also healing energy, right? That rest that I was saying. So a lot of you may have issues with remaining patient and taking things slow. Perhaps those thoughts that are showing up, I said you're not taking action based on them, but you may be very eager to take that action. The fact that you're not taking it, for some of you, may not be dependent on you. So you may really be eager to take action based on the thoughts that show up in your head, but for whatever reason you cannot, because the situation that you're in requires you to take things step by step, slow, and that is a challenge for you. You would want to act, but you can't, and it may be driving you a little crazy, right? So Temperance in your challenge position suggests that either some of you may be out of balance, you may need rest, you may need a little physical or mental, spiritual healing, but a lot of you are just very impatient right now, and that is causing challenges. In your advice position, you have the Ace of Pentacles. You know, the Ace of Pentacles is, first of all, it's a new beginning, right? That's the energy of a new beginning, every ace. Now, the Ace of Pentacles, to me primarily, is like a seed in the garden. It's like a seed that was given to you, because every ace is some kind of a gift, okay? It's a gift from, well, whatever higher power you believe in, or a gift from the universe, however you want to call it, right? But it's something that comes to you almost as if out of nowhere. This is your seed that you can plant, right? If you plant it well, and if you plant it in proper place, it will grow into tangible and long-lasting result, right? But it all depends on you, whether first of all you will notice that what you are receiving right now is a gift, and is a gift with potential, a gift that can grow into something that you dream of, okay? Because of that big pentacle, it has that a little spirit of the star card. It's like almost like a wish fulfillment, a dream come true, but you have to plant that seed first so that wish come true can grow, okay? So in your advice, what I'm getting is, notice and realize that whatever you're going through right now is a gift. Perhaps this time that you're being given, and you're being asked to take things slow, you want to rush, but in fact this time is a seed that you can plant, and with time it will grow. And if you try to rush planting that seed, it will not grow in a way that you would want it. So in your advice is, first of all, realize that what you are going through, whatever situation you're facing, whether it's in your career, family, whether it's your, health, relationships, creative projects, this is a gift that you're going through right now, and that gift has huge potential, but you need to realize it, and you need to make a conscious effort to plant that seed, okay, so it can grow. Build upon what you are getting, right? But you need to be patient. It's just like gardening. When you plant seeds, you need to allow those seeds to grow in their own pace, in their own time, right? You cannot force them to grow faster just because you want to. So do realize that you are building something right now. You are in the process, and as I said, it is a process. It cannot happen overnight. But you should realize, and that's your advice, that whatever you're going through, that is a gift of a new beginning, and a gift of a seed that can grow into something very long lasting if you are only patient enough to go through that process, right? So that was the energy for the element of water, and now we will move to the element of fire. Hi there, element of fire, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, mid-month check-in for March 2021. I pulled 4 cards for you. The oracle card is your overall energy, the overall theme for you, and the cards are as follows. This is your focus position, this is your challenge, and this is your advice. Abundance. Okay. Whatever you're going through, there is abundance surrounding you, whether it's abundance of ideas, creative ideas, abundance of possibilities within your career, maybe abundance of possibilities within a relationship or relationships, whatever you are going through. There can be abundance of resources as well. Perhaps you're working on a creative project, maybe on business, maybe it's about your work, but there's very positive energy of abundance, of those resources, ideas, right, available to you. For some of you, it may be material abundance as well. You may be going through a very positive, financially positive period, or you're heading towards that good financial period, okay? Yep. In your position of focus, there's work. Three of Coins is a card of attentive and diligent work, and work that is going according to plan. So that guy over here, he is working on a design. It's like an architect, right? And he's drawing on this drawing board. So this is about work that is going according to your plan. It can be a card of making that plan, sketching the plan, sketching what you want to work towards. But this is attentive and diligent work. It's also about mastering your skills as you go through that work process. But this is also a card of work that results in recognition. Recognition is not the primary focus of that guy here, but sooner or later he may not even realize that he starts to be recognized for his work, okay? Again, any area of your life. For a lot of you, this is really work-related or business. This is about working towards that financial abundance, financial stability. But for a lot of you, this can also be about your relationship. You may be working on your relationship. You may have a plan for it. And you may be diligently working towards that plan, right? You may be working with your partner towards a certain plan. You may want to achieve something, but it may be you. You may be working on yourself as well. And you may have a plan, who I want to be, what skills I want to develop, whether it work in relationship, right? And sooner or later, you will start getting recognition for this. If it's in a relationship, you may be working on yourself and your partner may start recognizing the work that you're doing, right? If it's in your work, you may be focused on, fulfilling your duties, and your efforts will be recognized by your boss, your colleagues, right? And material recognition will come out of it as well. Whether that material recognition is financial or whether it's within your relationship, that your relationship is becoming stronger. Perhaps your partner starts to recognize you more for what you do. But that recognition will be tangible for you. So you're working on something and you're working according to your plan. You're working to enhance your plan. There's diligent effort going on. In your position of challenge, you have the Seven of Swords. Okay, so for some of you, it may be about fear of someone, working against you, right? Seven of Swords is, to me, is a card of someone working behind your back to weaken you, to, working against you. It's almost like stabbing someone in the back. It may be a person that is deceiving you, so someone who is pretending to be your friend in your face, but behind your back is working against you. And with that fox over here, there's that feeling of lies and certain deception. In your position of focus, of challenge, this may mean that someone is actually physically working against you. Someone may be trying to, make your work harder. It may be a co-worker that is just perhaps jealous of your recognition, of your results, and they're working against you. But Seven of Swords, because it's swords energy. So it's about our thoughts, right? Your challenge position, it may mean that you are working against yourself, okay? You may not be doing this on purpose, but because of your thinking patterns, you're working against yourself. You're working on something, and I said recognition will come from this work. But perhaps what you're thinking is, I'm not good enough. I'm never gonna achieve that result that I dream of, that I want to. I will never get my skills to that level that I want to. I'm not worthy of it. I will never be recognized for what I do, right? I will never get that promotion at work, or my partner will never recognize what I'm doing because I'm just not worthy. I'm not good enough. This is working against yourself, stabbing yourself in the back with your own thoughts. And this is what I am primarily getting for you in your challenge position. That even though in your focus you're diligently working and you are good in what you do, and there will be recognition for it, even if you don't see it yet. In your head, you keep telling yourself, I'm never gonna achieve it anyway. So you're working against yourself. In your advice position, 9 of Coins. Abundance. 9 of Coins is about abundance, and abundance that is well earned and self-earned. That woman here, she's self-established, right? She earned her 9 coins. So she's very well established financially, materially, but not only, she's well grounded. She knows her worth. She knows what she's able to do and what she's able to achieve. But that's also material abundance. It's about stable financial situation. This is in your position of advice. So recognize what you're capable of. Recognize how good you are in what you do. And instead of thinking, I'm not good enough, I'm never gonna achieve it, recognize first of all what you already have. Recognize yourself, because it's not only about recognition coming from external sources, other people, right? Primarily, we should be recognizing ourselves, right? It's very important to be self-conscious about what you have, what you know, what you're skilled to do. But then this is also about, that abundance is coming to you. You have that energy of abundance coming up twice, right? Recognize what you already have, but also recognize the possibilities that are ahead of you, and stop limiting yourself with that, I'm never gonna get it, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. Move yourself to that positive attitude, okay? Realize that you're working to establish yourself, no one else. Everything is in your hands. And keep working. That's a part of that advice as well. Don't give up. Don't give up with this attitude. Just keep working. That abundance is right ahead of you. It's achievable to you. But you need to keep working diligently, and you need to recognize yourself for your skills and your abilities, your character features, right? Be self-conscious, recognize how good you are, and don't put yourself down. with that negative thinking. So that was the element of fire. I hope you liked it. I hope it was useful. We will now move to the element of earth. The element of earth, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, mid-month check-in March 2021. I pulled 4 cards for you. The oracle card is your overall theme or the overall energy surrounding you. And 3 tarot cards, this is your focus, this is your challenge, and this is your advice. Nurture. Nurture yourself, take care of yourself, foster yourself, but also nurture your family, nurture your creations, your business, your creative projects, nurture your body, nurture your relationships, whether romantic, whether business partnerships, whether friendships, but primarily it's about nurturing yourself, taking care of yourself, being good to yourself, not being hard on yourself, but being good to yourself, being gentle. Okay? It may also be that someone is nurturing you. In your position of focus, you got the Tower. So you may be going through some upheaval, some shake-up in your life. It may be a very intense time and you feel that almost the ground is shaking, or perhaps you're already overcoming that. You may have gone through that already. And that's why it's the time to nurture yourself now, because you have been through something tough, something very intense. The energy of Tower is, even though it's very intense and it brings that shake-up and it may, get us out of balance because of what is happening, it may be so surprising, right? This thunder striking the tower is going down, people falling off the tower. But what happens in this card? Well, first of all, the tower is only crashing right in the upper part, at least in this specific part. What it tells me is that your foundations are strong. So even though you're going through, or you just went through a time of that shake-up, it's almost like an earthquake in your life, your foundations are strong and they're not moved, they're not crushed. You're still standing strong, okay? You may be feeling as if though a thunder struck you, but your fundamentals are strong. So you're good. That's the first thing. Second thing with the tarot card is that this is liberation, right? When the tower goes down, you finally become free. So even though you may be going through that time of that shake-up, it's actually freeing you to move towards something new, or to free yourself from, certain limits. Maybe your limited thinking patterns, certain state of captivity that you have held yourself in. It may be, a sudden change of job. You may lose your job suddenly and it just turns out to be the best thing that ever happened to you, okay? It may be that your relationship is suddenly ending. But it turns out to be the best thing that happened to you because you're finally free. Perhaps that the relationship was limiting you, right? It may be about business partnerships. Okay, for some, it may obviously be, it may be a shake-up in your health. It may be something that shakes you up and is very sudden and is quite tough to go through. But remember that your fundamentals are strong, your foundations are strong. But it's a time to nurture yourself, to take care of yourself and be gentle, because you have just went through or are going through something very intense, something that may be quite tiring and so sudden and surprising that you may be confused what to do. But personally, I like the Tower because it crashes old systems, old beliefs, old ways of thinking, and it opens you up to new. It liberates you to move forward, to move away from that stuck place, from being stuck in the Tower. Okay? In your challenge position, you have the Six of Wands, and that actually makes perfect sense. I said, whatever this is, that shake-up, it, for many of you, will turn out to be the best thing that happened to you. But in your challenge position, you have the Six of Wands, which is the card of victory. So you have challenges to see your current situation as a situation of success and victory. Okay? What I do feel is that you're thinking that you're losing something. That's what I'm getting for some of you. Or that something is being destroyed, and for that reason you're losing something from your life. But it's not true. This is your challenge position, so you're not able to see that what you're going through is actually a victory for, or it will bring victory quite soon, but you don't see it that way. For some of you, you may have issues to see yourself as victorious. Okay? If it's this sudden loss of job or sudden end of a relationship, you know, in such situations we tend to think that we lost something, that it's almost as we are like, okay, I don't like this word, but it's just coming up, so you may feel like a loser in a certain situation, right? That something went wrong, that you actually lost. But it's not true. This is actually your victory, or it will lead you to victory, but you don't see that yet. Okay? In your advice position, you have the Ten of Swords. Okay? It can be perceived as quite a heavy card, right? With the person being dead from those 10 swords, lying on the ground, right? Being stabbed by 10 swords feels like painful death, right? But because it's 10, this is a card of completions. And you know, this particular card has a little different design, so we don't see that there is a new day on the horizon. Because it's 10 of Swords, this is the worst that it can get, and from now on it can only be better, right? If we decide to. Again, this is the energy of Swords, so primarily it's us killing ourselves with our own thoughts, right? Putting ourselves down with our heavy, heavy thoughts. But because it cannot get any worse than this, it can only get better. It's a time of certain release. If you only decide to do that, you can see this light over that person in this particular deck. This is the Healing Light Tarot. There's healing process above that, or around that person, I should say, right? There's healing from this heavy energy of Swords. Nurture yourself. Be good to yourself. Be gentle to yourself. Right? That's your advice. Okay? Allow yourself to go through that, because if you're in that state, then there's no sense fighting this. We should allow ourselves to go through every state, like feel every emotion that comes to us so we can go through it and then release it, right? But we have to face it first. If we keep running away, it will find us sooner or later, and it will be even more tough to tackle, right? But with this healing going on, it's like, because it's your advice position, it's almost like let go of that heavy thinking and nurture yourself with some good thoughts instead. Be good to yourself, physically as well, but primarily mentally, because in your advice, swords show up. So nurture yourself with good thoughts. Don't see only bad things happening, but try to think that heavy situations happening to you can actually bring something good, can bring victory, can bring freedom, can liberate you from limits, can help you move forward. But sometimes our world needs to shake, so we are kind of forced to move forward, because otherwise we're just stuck in the old place because it's known, it's familiar, so we're stuck in it, right? So sometimes our ground needs to shake, so we are kind of forced to move away from that, and then it turns out to be the best thing that ever happened to us, right? Let go of that heavy thinking and instead allow yourself a time of rest and be good to yourself mentally. Nurture yourself with good thoughts, with good visions. Think well of yourself. Don't put yourself down with your thinking, with how bad I am, how... Remember what I said, a loser. Don't think about yourself that way. Think good of yourself and allow that new day to come. It will come. It can only get better now. So take your time to rest and just be gentle to yourself. Allow yourself as much time as you need. Okay, so that was the element of earth, and now we will move to the element of air. The element of air, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, mid-month check-in, March 2021. I pulled 4 cards for you. The oracle card is your overall theme or the overall energy surrounding you. And the tarot cards, this is your focus position, your challenge, and your advice. Okay. Sacred. You may be going through something that you consider to be sacred, or you may be, I'm getting, protecting something that is sacred for you. It may be about protecting yourself. It may be about protecting your family, perhaps your material resources. For most of you, what I'm getting is relationships or sacred relationships that are in the process of creation, or something, whatever you're going through, it's almost like given to you from above, so it's sacred and meant to be. Okay? So let's see what tarot cards have to say about that. In your position of focus, you have the Queen of Swords. Okay? Queen of Swords, the cold teacher of wisdom. I really like that name of hers. Queen of Swords, whether male or female, because it's not gender specific, it's about energy. This is feminine energy, so it's a little more gentle than the King of Swords and a little more nurturing. But still, this queen, you know, she's seeing through deception. She's seeing through lies. She's not accepting bullshit. When she is being given bullshit, she's cutting that off with one firm cut with her sword, and that's it, right? She has no problem to cut off people or situations that are toxic, that are liars, deception, right? She's seeing through that. Called teacher of wisdom, so she's a good communicator. She's using the art of speech well, okay? She can use the right words, and she may not be using many words, but even if she just uses a couple, that's enough, because her message is clear, it's concise, brief, but it's clear, right, and understandable. So there may be, for some of you in your area of focus, you may actually be cutting off deception, lies, and whatever is not serving you, you may be cutting it off. You're not doing this in any kind of cruel way, but you're doing this firmly, right? There's no hesitation to do that. For a lot of you, it may be about intense communication as well. But as I said, there's not many words with the Queen of Swords. Her communication is concise, but it contains everything that it needs to, right? So she's operating her words very skillfully. But primarily, for most of you, what I'm getting is that cutting off that bullshit energy, that deception, that lies, whatever is toxic in your environment, people or things, events, you know, whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship, whether it's within your family. You're very decisive in what you do, but you're not cruel. You're caring in certain way because it's feminine energy. But you're focusing almost, I want to say, on clearing your space. Okay? In your challenge position, you have the Page of Cups. So you may be a little closed. Maybe a little closed to certain new or unusual emotions that come to you, because this is the energy of cups, so it's about their feelings and emotions. Or you may be too analytical and too logical, right, with the Queen of Swords, with that sharp intellect and extremely sharp logic. You may be a little too close to unusual emotions, unusual events, unusual feelings that show up, abundance of unusual feelings. A Page of Cups is also a card of a dreamer, someone who's very creative, someone who's inspired by almost everything that surrounds them, and they're open to that. They're not afraid of new. They're open, they're willing to try new things, to be inspired by new things, to be inspired by new emotions that grow within them, right? That they observe those emotions, not turning their head away, but actually being open to observe them first, see what they bring, right? That fish in the cup, first of all, symbolizes something unusual, but it is also a symbol of abundance, a symbol of plentifulness. So there may be a lot of new emotions that you are having challenges to deal with, because as you're clearing your space, for some of you, or just, you know, communicating your needs or your wants clearly, some unusual emotions may come up that you have challenges to understand or accept. You know, Page is a card of someone young. It may be someone young of age or young at heart. The situation that you're going through may be new to you. You may feel inexperienced in that situation, and that may bring challenges to you, right? Because Queen of Swords is more of an adult, even though it's also, it not necessarily is about a person, but it's about energy. But the Page is about someone young, so I do feel that you may feel inexperienced in the situation, unusual situation that you're going through, and that is bringing challenges to you. But it was meant to be. I said something that is coming, something that was meant to be. sacred, right? In your advice position, you have the Hangman. Take a step back, see the bigger picture. Okay? See the bigger picture and look at things from different perspective. I said challenges with accepting or understanding unusual emotions, unusual thoughts, ideas, creative hints that you're getting. Look at things from different perspective. It's almost flip yourself around to see things that you haven't seen before. Flip yourself around to see things you haven't seen before. But it's also about taking a step back and taking things slow, okay? The Queen of Swords, you know, when she's cutting, cleaning her space or communicating, it may be quite intense. It may be quite quick, right? Because I said she's not hesitating. So she may take quick action. In your advice position, I would say, you should slow down a little bit, so that you can really see all those things that you may not be able to notice when you're acting too fast. Because it's the Page of Cups is in your challenge. Maybe some of you may actually have challenges understanding those unusual things, but some of you may just not realize that what you're going through is something so unusual, something new. You're acting too quick to notice new emotions, new visions, new creative ideas that come to you. Slow down a little bit. The Hangman is also a little bit about sacrifice. It may be about sacrificing a certain aspect of yourself that is not serving you well, just leaving it behind. But this process, it's like a deep meditative state for the Hangman, right? He flipped himself around by his own choice. And it leads him to certain realization. He realizes things he didn't see before. He sees things he didn't notice before. But it's a deep, deep realization. It can, for some of you, it may almost be reaching another level of consciousness, which is a kind of a sacred process, right? To open up to higher level of consciousness, to deeper spirituality for some of you. So the advice from the tarot card, from the Hangman to you, is take things slow and allow yourself to notice all those things you have not noticed before, right? It may be a creative idea that you're just so quick in your current action, you're so logical. Let's say it's in your career area, right? You're very logical, your mind is very sharp. So you're acting according to that logic, but because you're very quick and very swift in your action, you may not notice those unusual hints of your mind, feelings, right? Ideas, visions. So take things a little slower and look at things from a different perspective, not as you always do, not as your logical mind is used to looking at things, right? Flip that perspective around and look at those things from a different view. Maybe look at things instead of from the perspective of your mind, look at things from the perspective of your feelings, your emotions, or your creativity, okay? But whatever that is that you are going through, whatever area of your life, it says, you know, slow down a little bit. Almost withdraw action, perhaps. Don't act for a moment, just observe. Because that may be a very deep, deep experience for you. A higher level of consciousness, that deeper spirituality is available to you if you just stop for a moment and just look and allow yourself to see. I hope you liked it. If you did, please let me know in the comments. Please like, and subscribe. I would be more than honored if we see each other again next time. And until then, please take care. Bye.